The Scarab's Secret. The pendant arrived on my doorstep with no return address, just a small velvet box containing the most exquisite beetle necklace I'd ever seen. Rose gold legs curved delicately around the body of iridescent dark green stone that seemed to shift colors in the light. I held it up to the window, watching it touch the afternoon sun. The craftsmanship was extraordinary. Each tiny leg joint was articulated, the antler-like mandibles spread wide, as if the beetle were about to take flight. But it was the stone that mesmerized me. Sometimes deep emerald, sometimes midnight blue, with hints of purple dancing across its surface. My grandmother had collected insect jewelry. After she passed last year, I'd inherited her collection, but I'd never seen this piece before. Perhaps it had been lost in storage, sent by a relative who'd been cleaning out an attic. My grandmother had collected insect jewelry. After she passed last year, I'd inherited her collection, but I'd never seen this pie. See before. Perhaps it had been lost in storage, sent by a relative who'd been cleaning out an attic. I fastened the chain around my neck. The beetle settled against my collarbone, cool and surprisingly heavy. That night I dreamed of Egypt. Golden sand stretched endlessly beneath a burning sun. I was someone else, a young woman in white linen, standing before a temple. In my hands I held a scarab beetle carved from stone, its surface gleaming with that same impossible color. The god Khepri rolls the sun across the sky each day, the priest's voice intoned. This scarab holds his blessing. Keep it close, and you shall be protected from its life and your neck. I woke gasping, my hand clutching the pendant. The dream had been so vivid I could still smell the incense from the temple, still feel the hot sand beneath my feet. Over breakfast, I researched the piece online. Scarab beetles were sacred in ancient Egypt, symbols of transformation and rebirth. The stone appeared to be some kind of opal or labradorite, though I'd never seen either gem with quite that particular quality. I should have taken it off. I didn't. The dreams continued. Each night I lived another life, always connected to the scarab, always ending in tragedy. I was a pharaoh's daughter who died young of fever, a tomb robber caught and executed, a merchant who drowned crossing the Nile, a priestess who... I woke screaming from that dream, my sheets soaked with sweat. During the day, strange things began happening. I'd be walking down the street and suddenly understand hieroglyphics on a museum poster I'd never studied. I'd hear conversations in ancient Egyptian, though everyone around me spoke English. Twice, I found myself drawing symbols I didn't recognize, my hand moving automatically across the paper. The pendant grew warm against my skin. I tried to remove it. The clasp wouldn't open. I tried cutting the chain. My scissors wouldn't close. It was as if the necklace had fused to me, becoming part of my body. On the seventh night, the dream was different. I stood again in that first temple, but this time I was You have worn the scarab of souls, she said. Every life it has touched, every death it has witnessed, lies within the stone. It was meant to be buried with its final blood, locked away from the world. How do I remove it? I asked desperately. You cannot. You are its keeper. There was another way. The scarab sits on the table of the western darkness. Take it away from someone, bury it in its stone and sand, and leave it free. I looked at the words echoing in my mind, where it was going. But I didn't know where it was. I had no return address, no idea who'd sent it. I spent 3 days searching through my grandmother's papers, calling distant relatives, tracking down estate sale records. Nothing. It was as if the pendant had materialized from thin air. The dreams grew more intense. I was living multiple lives each night now, experiencing deaths in rapid succession. Poison, stabbing, burning, suffocation. The scarab had witnessed centuries of endings, and now I was living them all. I could barely function during the day. My skin grew pale, dark circles bloomed under my eyes. The pendant burned against my chest like a hot coal, but I couldn't feel pain from it, only an overwhelming pressure, as if the weight of all those deaths was slowly crushing me. On the 10th night, I dreamed of my grandmother. She stood in her garden, the one she'd loved so much, wearing her favorite blue cardigan. In her hands, she held the scarab pendant. "I'm sorry, darling," she said softly. "I should have destroyed it long ago. My grandfather bought it from a dealer in Cairo on a honeymoon, said it came from an unauthorized dig in the Valley of Kings. I knew it was wrong to keep it, but it was so beautiful. I wore it once, had the same dreams you had. I put it away, locked it in a box, tried to forget. Grandma, how do I get rid of it?" She smiled sadly. "You already know where it was found, but you're looking in the wrong place." She pointed down at the garden soil. "I buried the box here years ago, hoping the earth would contain it, but the scarab wants to go deeper. It wants to go home." I woke and drove to my grandmother's house, my house now. In the pre-dawn darkness, I dug in her garden, following some instinct I couldn't name. 3 feet down, I found a metal box, rusted and dented. Inside was a photograph, my grandparents standing in front of the Great Pyramid. On the back were my grandfather's handwriting. Giza, 1967, the dig site. I booked a flight to Egypt that morning. The trip took 14 hours. I didn't couldn't sleep. The dreams were bleeding into waking life now. I'd blink and see hieroglyphics carved into airplane windows. A flight attendant would speak and I'd hear ancient Egyptian. The scarab burned cold, then hot, then cold again. In Cairo, I hired a guide who looked at me strangely when I showed him the old photograph. "This area is restricted now," he said, "but for enough money, I know someone who can get you close." We went at night, slipping past security fences and sleeping guards. The pyramids loomed against the stars, massive and eternal. I felt the scarab pulling me forward, tugging like a compass toward true north. The guide led me to a depression in the sand, half excavated, then abandoned. "Here," he said. "This is where the unauthorized digs happened in the 60s. They found tombs, artifacts. Most were sold illegally." I knelt in the sand, digging with my bare hands. The scarab grew hotter and hotter against my skin. I dug until my fingers bled, until I hit something solid, a stone slab carved with warnings and hieroglyphics I could suddenly read perfectly. "Here lies he who died with regret, and returns with vengeance, who cannot rest. May this seal hold eternal." I understood then. The scarab wasn't just a record of deaths. It contained a soul, someone angry, someone who'd been wronged, someone who'd been cursed to relive every death they'd caused. With trembling hands, I dug around the stone, creating a hollow beneath it. The clasp on the necklace suddenly released. The pendant fell into my palm, the stone blazing with inner light. "I'm sorry," I whispered, to whoever had been trapped inside for so long. "Go home. Rest." I placed the scarab in the hollow and pushed the stone back over it. The instant the seal was complete, I heard a sound like an exhalation, relief, release, peace. The guide helped me fill in the hole. We left as dawn broke over the pyramid, golden light spilling across the sand. On the flight home, I slept dreamlessly for the first time in 10 nights. The scar on my collarbone where the pendant had rested faded with the night. But sometimes, late at night, I still think about that soul, trapped for millennia, forced to witness and remember every death, finally free. And I wonder, who else might be wearing cursed jewelry right now? Experiencing someone else's nightmare, desperate for a way to wake up. I check estate sales differently now. I look more carefully at vintage jewelry, and I never, ever accept packages with no return address. Some beautiful things are better left buried. The guide helped me fill in the hole. We left as dawn broke over the pyramids, golden light spilling across the sand. On the flight home, I slept dreamlessly for the first time in 10 nights. The scar on my collarbone where the pendant had rested faded within weeks. But sometimes, late at night, I still think about that soul, trapped for millennia, forced to witness and remember every death, finally free. And I wonder, who else might be wearing cursed jewelry right now? experiencing someone else's nightmare, desperate for a way to wake up. I check estate sales differently now. I look more carefully at vintage jewelry, and I never ever accept packages with no return address. Some beautiful things are better left buried. The guide helped me fill in the hole. We left as dawn broke over the pyramids, golden light spilling across the sand. On the flight home, I slept dreamlessly for the first time in 10 nights. The scar on my collarbone where the pendant had rested faded within weeks. But sometimes late at night, I still think about that soul, trapped for millennia, forced to witness and remember every death, finally free. And I wonder, who else might be wearing cursed jewelry right now, experiencing someone else's nightmare, desperate for a way to wake up? I check estate sales differently now. I look more carefully at vintage jewelry, and I never ever accept packages with no return address. Some beautiful things are better left